Hi, it's Hannes Dreyer and welcome to another Wealth Insights training. And I receive questions or comments from time to time, and these comments can become excellent training sessions. So this is what I want to do in this specific lesson. And the question basically, or the statement is this: Hannes, thanks, I enjoy listening to your videos, but where is this leading me? Are you actually going to divulge what I must or can do to become successful or rich? Or is this just a build-up to having to do something else, like enrolling in a course to achieve my aims? Now, I think these are valid questions, because what's my intent with this series, this gift that I'm giving to you? And that is what I'd like to explain. So the best way to explain it is maybe to get to the big picture, so that I can show you what I've got in mind for you, and why do I do, and why is it that I'm giving this to you for free. So let's go to the board and let me show you quickly what I mean. Right, my passion is to teach, and specifically to help, to teach, to train, to mentor, to counsel, to consult people on how to become a wealth creator. Because a wealth creator is a person that knows how to create, preserve and enjoy wealth. And to have wealth actually means to have a life of abundance. And that is my wish for you. And in order to do that, I need to teach. So how do I go about in doing this? First of all, there's a massive difference between an opportunity seeker and a wealth creator. And not everyone will embark this journey to become a wealth creator, because let's face it, it's going to take time, it's going to take effort, it's not going to be easy. You're going to really have to have the desire to become a wealth creator in order to create, preserve and enjoy your wealth. It is not something that is natural and it feels natural, or it in fact violates everything that you've learned up to now regarding finances, regarding risk. You know, we've been taught that the higher the risk, the higher the growth, and you must have money to make money. But the moment that you're a wealth creator, you understand that the lower the risk, the higher the growth, is the growth on your investment that's going to make you rich. And therefore, you never need money in order to start a business, to grow a business, or to start any investment, or even to buy properties, by simply using the wealth creator strategy. And this wealth creator strategy is the intelligent use of limited resources to go from where you are to where you want to be in the shortest possible time with the least amount of risk. That's the basics. And all of this that I'm showing on this board is the blueprint for becoming a wealth creator. Now, I've got no idea where you are on your journey, but 95% of the time when I start this journey, that person is an opportunity seeker. In other words, he or she believes what the system told them, and they are convinced that that is the right and the only way to do it. So we need to shift their mindsets. But to shift the mindset is the most difficult thing for a person to do, because our reticular activated system, or let's call it our comfort zone, wants to protect us. And the moment that something is new, or then we're going to treat that literally as the enemy. We're going to treat this new information with, whoa, this can't be true, this is not true. So I need to follow a process, and that is my strategy that I'm telling you now. So when we look at the whole picture, if we take like a triangle, something like that, then 90% of what I'm doing is I need to convert a opportunity seeker, a person that follows the system, into becoming a wealth creator. And the only way to do that is basically to give 90% of my information free. And all of this information is geared to only do one thing, and that is to open your mind so that you can understand that you were born to have a life of abundance, and that everything that you need is already within you. And this thing that we've been taught to go out and go to an expert to help us, that it is not working. So the moment that you take responsibility, the moment that you decide, I'm going to start this journey to become a wealth creator, that is the moment that I've succeeded in sharing my passion with you. But it is a deliberate decision that you have to make. In other words, you need to decide, listen, the path that I'm on is not going to take me to financial freedom or to freedom, the compounded freedom that I'm referring to. So that is where we're going to start. And in order to do that, I need to prove to you that what I've got to share with you will benefit you and will give you 1,000,000 times bigger benefits than the road that you're on right now. Now, some of this information and most of that information, the moment that I share it with you, because you're not used to think like a wealth creator, I'm talking in general. I'm doing this now for 15 years, actually longer than 15 years, but 15 years since I started teaching this stuff, let's call it on a full-time basis. I'm on a retirement, but on my retirement full-time basis. Right, is that once you understand it and you implement it, the understanding is not the thing, it's doing the stuff. So the moment that you start doing it, you're going to see the results. You're going to see two results. The one is a mental change in terms of your belief systems and as well as in the way that you feel. Because suddenly you're going to feel, but I can make it, I can do it, I have got the right. By simply following the process, I can get to financial freedom in less than 10 years, sometimes less than 5 years. And that is the start of the process. But the second thing, you're going to get access and start to understand that what I believe to be the truth is not the truth, and that is what keeps me poor, and that is what keeps me from having a life of abundance. Right, so, and the function of this is then to take you to the next level. Now, the next level that I want to discuss. Now, I would say approximately 90% of all the material that I'm putting out there is free stuff. And the function, now, a lot of people think it's free simply because I'm giving it to you for free. But some of this stuff, as a consultant in my previous life, I've charged tens, if not hundreds of thousands of rand to tell people who they are, where they are, what they should do in order to be able to become financially free. I'm giving this stuff to you simply because I'm not a consultant anymore. I'm not a financial planner. I'm not an advisor. I'm not a business consultant. Stuff that I've done in the past, but now I can give it to you and I'm free already. So I don't need the money and therefore I can give it to you for free in the hope that you're going to say, but I'm going to become a wealth creator. Now, you'll never ever have to pay if you don't want to pay for a course. Never in your life. Because the stuff that I'm giving you, if you know how to implement that, you don't need the course. It is that simple. So, now, what do I mean with a course? Actually, I've never sold a course in my whole life. I've never sold a course in my life. What I'm selling is competency. In other words, the function of that material that you're going to receive is to compact 30 years of experience, to condense it into a very, very short time span by giving you the competency, in other words, the experience, the knowledge, the applied knowledge, the skill sets through systems. And I think this is important because unless you've got a system that can incorporate this and that you can follow, it will be extremely difficult to get to that in 5 to 10 years. It's impossible unless you've got a system. And that is what you are buying. You are buying time, you are buying experience, you are buying the knowledge through systems in order to do it. Now, you don't need to do it because if you implement, like I've said, what I'm giving you, but I think under normal circumstances, it's going to take you 7 to 12 years just to figure the basics out. It took me literally from 1983 to 87 to figure out, whoa, I could see what people were doing wrong, but there was no solution and I couldn't find the solution until 1987. Now, the moment that you move, we can basically say this is to matriculate. In other words, as a wealth creator, this The moment that you understand this, and you understand that I can speed the whole process up by taking responsibility and by following the system, then you can basically join the Wealth Creators University. So when you're ready and this you understand, then this portion becomes almost logic. It's a no-brainer. Now, the second portion that we're going to do, and this portion is basically a 7.9%, I would say, of all my students will eventually decide to go for a course. Okay? And this is where they're going to pay, but this is actually the start of the Wealth Creators University. This is where we're going to give you systems, processes, in order to start this journey and then to speed up this process of gaining the competency. Now, if I take that portion and I break it down, I'm working on exactly the same, let's call it principle. And you'll find that there's many courses, very cheap courses to get you up. Maybe you haven't got the money. But then this portion there, the Apex portion, that portion, is where I normally invite people to a seminar or a webinar or a training session or a series of training sessions. And if they've completed that, in other words, they've listened to the webinar or they've been on the seminar for 3 or 4 hours, I normally then offer the Apex, the first level of the Wealth Creators University as a special price to them at that point. Now, the Property Pro at the moment, for the last 4 years, I offered at 9,950 Rand if you take that up on the seminar or some of the webinars. Right, so that is the price to gain all of this knowledge, but then as a bonus, I'm adding all of that information to you. Now, if we look at the property in itself, if you pay course by course, because we are selling these courses on an individual basis on our websites. So you can literally go into the website, buy the course, and be happy with the course and continue with your life. But the moment that you do it in a package deal, the way that I would suggest that you do it, you're going to find that we give you that price, and that boils down to approximately 80,000 Rands worth of value that people are, in fact, right now, paying in order to get to some of the courses. So if you take the combination of that, it's approximately 80,000 Rand that you get. Now, why do I do that? Simply because if you are prepared to pay 10,000 Rand, it means that you have calculated the cost and that you were willing to embark on this. And for that reason, I want to say thank you for the 3 to 4 hours that you spent with me, because let's face it, it takes time to travel to a seminar, it takes effort to listen to me for 3 to 4 hours. But during that time, once you understand what it is that you're actually buying, that you're not buying a program, you're not buying a course, you are buying competency. You are speeding up the process through a system to get you in a position where you can literally, in one single day, when this portion is done, that you can know exactly what I know. And what I promise you on this, for example, on the property side, is a 55.09%. I guarantee this for 5 years, your IRR on your investments will be a minimum of 55.09%. And over a 10-year, if you can maintain that through dedication and effort, you're going to find that that makes a difference of approximately 4 million in your estate just on that. So this is, let's call it the university portion. Now, on the business side, the business is a lot more complicated than property. Property's got 27 variables and a very easy to understand system. So everyone can do it very, very quickly. It takes literally a day. You can buy one day, by spending one day on this system. You'll understand the system and you know what I know in order to get to 55%. On the business side, it's a little bit more tricky and it takes approximately 12 weeks to go through. At the moment, the specials that we've got is in the vicinity of 18,000 Rand, maybe 20,000 Rand, between 18 and 20,000 Rand. And for that, we promise two things. Either to get 1,000% growth on your investment, your initial investment, in order to qualify as a rainmaker in terms of the startup business, or 99% of my students actually The moment that they understand that you don't need money, that you don't need security in order to start a business, what they do is they start what we call an infinite business. In other words, they start a business with no money, with no security, with nothing. Most of the time they've got no idea what they want to do, but by following the level 1 on the business side, the 7 steps on the business side, they are able to do it with a 100% success ratio. Now, some of these people had to do the course more than once. So on the first 12, 13 weeks, they did not qualify. And the main reason why they did not qualify is simply because of the programs, the meta programs that they run right in the beginning, and then they got stuck with that to think, but it's impossible, it's impossible. But if they continue through the course, they can retake the course. And by taking the course the second time, suddenly it's almost like I've never had a person that had to do the course 3 or 4 times to succeed. The most that they had to do it was on the second time, because then suddenly that knowledge opens up. And it's weird, because the more you get access to the information, the more logical it's going to become. So that basically is the second part. And again, you don't have to do that. If you're not ready to do that, you stay with the free stuff. There's so much free stuff that it's unreal. But the trick is to go and implement that and do it. Now, if you can't do it, then maybe a system can help you and can speed up the process. So that is basically then the second portion. Then on top of that, we've got this portion here. If you've qualified and if you've done what you're supposed to do, this works on an invite only. Right. So on that invite, we're going to find that approximately 2.9% of these students will then move on to what we call the mastery or the inner circle. So because we follow these people, we can see where they are in terms of their competency. And when they acquire the level of competency to move to the mastery, it's literally like a university. So the moment that you can prove these results, then we know that you are ready to move on if you want to. Some people are there and they're more than happy, and they've got the insights to do all of that without us teaching that to them, because in the basics we teach all of this stuff. So on that level, all of this stuff you will understand and you will know, depending on which pillar you choose. Okay, so 2.9%, and this is where we take them literally from the 55 to infinite, and with properties and businesses and investments to infinite. In other words, once you reach that point, I guarantee you that you will know how to start a business, how to grow a business, how to buy properties, all for free, right? Now, the way that we structure this deal at the moment is that if you've paid anything, I'm going to take that into consideration. And because it's an invite, I will tell you before the time what the guarantees are, plus what it's going to cost. But I know from personal experience that that is going to be a no-brainer. Because if you've made 10 or 100 times more than what you've paid to get there, and that is the first place that you start paying, then of course you're going to do that, depending on how serious you are and how quickly you want to implement the systems. Because here we've got what we call a COA mentoring program. In other words, we're going to help you, and it's a level above the rest. In fact, it's 5 levels above the rest. This is mastery. But then right there, here is something else, and that is approximately 0.1% of all the people that I deal with goes to this level, and that is where we enter into partnerships. In other words, at the moment I've got a few of these people. They are partners of mine. In other words, they've got 100% full access to me. I'm there to help them to grow their business, but I would never ever invited them unless they were on the mastery level and they've succeeded on their mastery level themselves. So what I bring to the table, what the Wealth Creators University or the group brings to the table, is simply a level beyond what you can imagine. And because of that, I immediately get into this function of the CEO function in order to help these people to scale this business, because that's what I'm damn good at. In other words, I can take an idea and I can take that idea to 4 or 5 levels, where a normal person would, at this level, would take 5 or 6 years to get I can literally get that business in a very short time. But we are very, very selective, and unless it falls within my personal competency, I'm not going to invite you to get to that level. And I thought I'd like to share this with you, because I think it's important. So I think it's a very valid and a very important question that you've made. What's the purpose? That depends on you. If you want to change your mindset from becoming an opportunity seeker to becoming a wealth creator, the free stuff is more than you'll ever need. On condition that if you implement it and you keep on doing that and you keep on doing it and you follow me for the last 15 years, you will have enough information to get there in any case, right? But if you want to speed up the process and you want to use the systems that I've used in order to get that, that is where the next level happens. And that is where the first real commitment happens. This commitment is not a test. Free stuff is never a test. And the moment that you have to pay, even if it's there on a smaller level, like on the cheaper courses, we call it cheaper courses, it's not. It's to give you access to start with this training process. But the moment that you are willing to pay even 10 rand, I know that you are 1,000 times more serious than a person that is not willing to pay 1 rand for his, because the greatest investment that you can make is to invest in yourself. Now, if you are not prepared to make an investment, a physical investment, nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. I haven't paid in the beginning to understand this, but it took me 7 years to make the breakthrough. And after the breakthrough, I had to develop the systems and then to get the money-making machine going. That took me many years, and I'm going to in the series talk about that and show you how much time and effort it actually took me to develop this. But once I had that, then the rest is sailing. So this is literally, you never will ever buy a course. You are going to buy system, processes, procedures and strategies. That is what you're going to buy. That has worked for me, that is working for other students, if you want that. And then if you see the results and you are happy with the results and you want to upgrade, a lot of these people, they're happy with the university, let's call it qualification. They are making more than enough money. They don't want to get into, let's call it the top 1% of the world. They are happy with the top 3, top 5%. But then there's that small group of people that we like to I say 0.1%, it's actually 1% of 0.1% if you look at the type of income that those people are generating. That is, and it's available, but you can't get there unless you've done this. I hope that you get there. You can't buy your way into that deal. There is no way. You have, because this is my passion, to teach you how to become a wealth creator. You have to prove that you're already a wealth creator. You have to prove that before that level, the mastery level is going to, the inner circle is going to happen. And you have to prove that you've got and that you've started businesses and investments for free before I'm going to invite you to the top 0.1%. Right, and that's my intent. That's what I want to do. Now, if that is not for you and you don't want, and you think this stuff is useless and you can't use it and it does not make sense to you, simply unsubscribe. And please don't waste your time on this. I can tell you beforehand, this is not for everyone. If you're not prepared to take responsibility, the free stuff will not be for you. If you do not want a better future and think differently and start getting outside the box, none of this stuff is going to mean anything to you. Take your money, give it to someone else, hope that they're going to make you rich. I know that it's not going to work. From stats, I'll share that if I haven't shared that already with you. Only 0.24% of all South Africans over the age of 60 will earn an income of more than 25,000 Rand per month. My friend, that is not my wish for you. My wish for you is to start this process. Even if you never buy any course or program for me, please stick to this process. Please stick to it. Maybe you don't get it now. Go back. Do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again, until you get it. Because the moment that you get it, you'll see, but I've got the money to start with that process. I've got the money already, because the money is already, but you have to go and do it. You can't just listen to me. You have to implement. On this, where I got the map. I told you what I did. Go and sit down. What is keeping me poor? What keeps other people poor? Write it down. If you don't write it down, it means nothing. Then what can I do to overcome this? Right, write it down and then start with your journey to find out, but what can I do in order to change my mindset? Because unless you're going to change your mindset, you're not going to start with the process, even if I give you all of this information 100% for free. That's why I'm doing it. Please become a wealth creator. Please, you owe that to yourself. You owe that to your family. It's your birthright. Please don't mess up this gift that I'm giving, and don't think because it's a gift that it's free. It's not free. You have to put in the time. You have to put in the effort in order to be able to understand it. You have to open your mind. It's going to be difficult. I understand that. But that's the only way to get to that point where you can say, I'm free and I'm living my purpose and I'm living my dream and I'm living my passion. Thanks for your time.